There are a lot of stereotypes used to define people who utilize Reddit, Discord, who play video games or watch anime, and one of them is the disgusting living space. While a majority of people that partake in these interests in their free time most likely live a pretty normal, hygienic lifestyle, on the internet it's become a bit of a subculture to capture and archive images of Discord dens and neckbeard nests. Rooms and living spaces that are so caked in grime and trash that it almost makes you question if it's even possible to live within them. Today we're going to be taking a look at some of these images. But be warned, because these images can cause a level of stress, anxiety, and fear that can only really be felt in the deepest crevice of your mind. Now this image is starting on the lower end of the neckbeard nest / Discord dungeon spectrum, and the reason I chose to start at the bottom end is because by the end of this video we will have transitioned from one end of the spectrum to the other, that being the rooms that are far too gone, owned by people whose brains and bodies are so fried that not only could they not clean it up if they want to, but that they've become so used to their own squalor that they see it as normal. Now in the case of this room, I actually don't necessarily classify this as a neckbeard nest at all to begin with, because to me, that looks like the rubbish and general wear and tear of a room that happens after the fellas come over for a bit of a house party, you know, drinking beers, watching movies and playing video games. In all honesty, you could probably clean that up in an afternoon. You only need to vacuum the floor. I'm not seeing too many stains or marks on the carpet. You do need to put a sheet on your mattress though, because I don't think it's great that your mattress is soaking up all of your body fluids because there's no fucking sheet on there, right? But other than that, this is probably on the general lower end of the spectrum. And the reason I say that is because it genuinely looks like with maybe a couple of extra hands and a handful of garbage bags, you'd probably get this room back in perfectly working order. This is someone's room who's on the brink of falling down the rabbit hole of making the mistake of creating a neckbeard nest, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it's just there just yet. And the reason why I say that is because there is at least some form of organisation in this room. While the lighting isn't exactly that great, you can tell that there's drawers, he's got a desk, it looks like he's got a cupboard there, and there ain't a whole host of clothes all over the ground either, which is usually a pretty good tell that you're entering a Discord dungeon or a neckbeard nest. Now this is the point I was making about clothes being present in these kinds of images. It instantly serves to clutter the space so much more, and while it isn't necessarily the hardest to clean or maintain, it's definitely the hardest to look at, because my brain naturally struggles to define what it is I'm looking at when there are bags and clothes in a scene like this. Almost the entire floor, save for a small portion of the floor that remains uncovered right by the bed, is completely caked in dirty, unworn or worn clothes, next to a radiator that seems to have a drawer that's already overflowing to the point where the top drawer is left open. One thing I've always never understood about these specific images is how someone sleeps on something like that when it's already covered to the brim with just about every piece of garbage you can imagine. Now I occasionally, when I fall asleep, have some folded clothes on my bed that I hadn't put away, usually because I just really don't know that they're there. But in this case, it seems like they're using their own squalor as a form of warmth to defend themselves from the cold nights that they're experiencing. It seems like they're using their own dirty clothes or dirty bed clothes to keep themselves warm. It's not exactly the most appealing. It even looks like there's a fan in there somewhere. This is where you'll be staying if you get on the wrong side of the Serbian mafia. Or in all honesty, it kind of looks like the person who's living here didn't get on the wrong side of the Serbian mafia, they just asked if they could fucking stay for a while. Not every neckbeard nest or Discord dungeon is disgusting purely because the person living in it is neglecting their living space, but because their living space is already about as neglected as it can get. This honestly looks like underneath someone's house. This is the way that Harry Potter would have lived if he was born in today's day and age. He wouldn't have been staying under the stairs. He would have been living under the fucking house. And in all honesty, this image is actually a bit of an oxymoron because there's more organisation and more thought put into where things are going to go in this image than there is in images that people have who are actually living inside the house that they live in. Now this is the kind of image that I'm talking about when I say we're moving up the spectrum slowly but surely to what I would consider peak Discord dungeon / neckbeard nest. A bedroom that's so overflowing with trash that you need stilts to walk on one side of the bed. Like you need to do a fucking circus show trick just to get to that Squirtle in the corner there who seems to be being suffocated by boxes of pizza and other indeterminate trash. And that's what I'm saying, it really messes with your depth perception. You can only vaguely make out a handful of things that you're looking at when you look at images like this. And obviously this is an anime-centric neckbeard nest because of the body pillow on the bed. Now I can't tell what character that is, it doesn't even really matter, but it's ironic that one of the cleanest parts of the room is dedicated to housing that body pillow. Also, look at the sick axe in the lower right hand corner. That's definitely probably the cleanest thing in the room, because let's be real here, that bed definitely ain't clean. Of course the person that lives in this room is an EDM producer, because look, he's got FL Studio opened on his PC. He must be deep into producing the next big EDM trap house hit. The question I have is, how does he use that keyboard? It's so caked in cigarette ash. This man is definitely a fan of motherfucking Newports. And is that a piss bottle sitting next to it? Oh, I wouldn't ask too many questions about this one. This man is a fan of Newports, Xbox 360, EDM music production, and I think that's Gatorade in the background there, those bottles. And what I want you to realise about these images is that for all of the disarray that you see in the forefront, right? There's always some form of organisation when it comes to bottles. And I have no idea why. Bottles, cups, cans especially. It's almost as if these people know they need to keep some level of organisation in these images, so they organise the bottles and cans in the same place. They're like monoliths standing above a forefront of trash that automatically draw your eyes to it because your brain only recognises that form of organisation in the image. It's like it draws your eyes directly to that point because it's the only point in the image where your brain can actually properly make out what's going on. I see that so much. I wonder if the track that he's creating in FL Studio and mastering right now, because he's got the mastering bench out on the bottom of the screen, I wonder if that ever took him places. Hopefully it took him to places where he didn't have to live in shit like this. He could maybe pay a maid to clean up this cigarette ashy ass desk. Ladies and gentlemen, there's not much that needs to be said with this one. This is the peak of neckbeard nest degeneracy. This is the peak of Discord dungeon. A room with a door in the background that's overflowing with trash to the point where it would be impossible to enter or exit through that door. The walls covered in some form of grease or grime that can't even be washed off because it would be impossible to scale that Mount Fuji-esque mountain of trash, which looks to be full of KFC or maybe popcorn buckets. That kind of looks like a popcorn bucket to me. You've got a red burgundy couch that's also got some garbage on it, as you can see if you focus your attention on the forefront. Paper plates. Rubbish. You see, this is what I never understood about people who use paper plates in neckbeard nests. Paper plates are designed specifically to be thrown out, to be discarded when you're done with them. Yet they can't even be bothered doing that. They just pile them up everywhere. Like, the reason you buy paper plates, it's pretty popular in share houses and frat houses. The reason you buy them is so you don't have to do dishes. Yet you still don't even do what they're intended to do. What is that? Is that baby powder sitting next to that bottle of, what is it, lemonade? I don't know. This is an old image too, as you can see, but it perfectly represents what I'm talking about when I say neckbeard nest or Discord den. A room so disgusting that you genuinely can't comprehend how someone would ever let it get that bad. But in all honesty, it just builds up around them. They have no comprehension of what it is they're actually doing. They don't notice it until it's too late. Unlike the first image, and I'll put up both of them together so you can see the contrast. This, I believe, is far too deep into the neckbeard nest lifestyle to ever pull yourself back out. I wouldn't be surprised if someone was under that pile of garbage and they've been suffocated for who knows how long. Imagine the stench.